Hi, Jessie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Thanks for having
Of
me.
course.
Yeah.
So, our podcast is all about your journey in the music industry and how you got to where you are today.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's strap on the seatbelts. Let's go.
So whereabouts are you in the world right now?
I'm in New York. I'm in
Okay.
I'm in Queens. Yeah.
Queens. Are you from Queens originally?
No, I'm a Southern girl. I'm from Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk. Okay. I have a
Yeah.
my cousin, or he's technically, I guess, would be my uncle. He lives in Norfolk. He's lived there for a number of years.
Hi, Uncle. Hey.
Yeah. So, how did you get into music?
Oh, wow. It's such a strange thing. I kind of fell into it in a way. I guess growing up, I did sing in the church choir and stuff like that, but I was more shy. Then I started doing like oratorical contests, and then that kind of opened me up, so that I didn't mind being on stage, and I kind of realized how much I like being on stage. But even then, I was like, I'm an academic. I'm going to go to school for be a doctor, do this, whatever. But I always found myself being drawn back to the stage some kind of way. And then in college, I was doing this pageant, and they didn't want any more dramatic monologues. There's too many dramatic monologues. We need something else. And the pageant coordinator was like, I've heard you sing. You're gonna sing. And I was like, no. And he was like, yes. And I was like, okay. And the next thing I know, I'm singing in front of my entire school, and I'm terrified, but I kind of like it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is. I think I really like this. I think this is what I need to be doing. I ended up winning. Ha! Yay.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and then after that, it was just weird circumstances that kept bringing me back to performing music, and
Mhm.
and I started writing, and I started writing for different people, and then I was like, you know what? I think God's trying to tell me something. I'm being driven on this path, and so I managed to get myself up to New York, and and the next thing I know, I met Omar Hakim, which is a beast of a drummer,
Mhm.
and at the time he was playing with Chic.
Wow.
And yeah. and and he says, Chic is looking for a girl, and I'm like, oh, are they? And so next thing I know, I'm standing in front of Nile Rodgers,
Oh
and
my gosh.
right, and I'm talking to Nile, and he's like, hey, you want to try singing this song? I'm like, I'm coming out, sure. Why not? And so I'm on stage singing I'm Coming Out in front of Nile Rodgers, and somehow he was like, okay, let's take the green girl who's never done anything, and and see what happens. And somehow my professional career started with all these weird happenstance, whatever, that brought me to being in front of Nile Rodgers, and voila, here I am today.
Oh my gosh. So you get in front of Nile Rodgers, you perform the song. He's like, okay, this is awesome. And then what, did you go on tour with Chic or something? Is that like the
I went on
happened right
tour
away?
with Cheek. Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I
oh
I
my
went.
gosh.
The funny thing is they had already kind of found a girl, but then I came in because Omar, I was working with Omar, and Omar was the drummer, and he's like, I think you need to see this girl, and I kind of fit the look. I'm not a short person, and the other singer was kind of tall, and the keyboard player at the time was female, and so we all were kind of like these tall Amazonian looking chicks, and I think he liked the look of it, the lineup, and he's like, wow, she can sing, she's an Amazon, let's go with it. So
Okay.
yeah, my first professional gig was touring with Nile Rodgers.
Wow. So tell me about that tour. Were you like, were you a part of his like entourage type deal? Did you get to like tour with them? I mean, in
Yeah,
his bus and that whole thing?
yeah. My first entree into the touring life was we were doing the Blue Notes in Japan. So we were traveling all over Japan to like
Wow.
Tokyo, Osaka, everywhere. So I'd never even been out the country,
I was
you
gonna
know.
ask, was that the first time you've ever been out of the country?
Yeah, I had to like rush my passport and everything because I'm
Oh,
like, oh, the world was changing in a matter of weeks. I got the
yeah.
gig. They're like, okay, we're going to Japan. I'm like, oh, are we? You know, so I took a leave from my job. I don't know how they let me do that. It was, you know, crazy. And yeah, so it was trial by fire. Um, the singer I was working with, Silver Logan Sharp, she basically taught me what it was like to be on stage. She taught me mic technique. She taught me, you know, when someone else is singing, don't flail about in the background, you know. She really kind of, she sat me down, she showed me videos, and she's like, okay, you see what you're doing here? Let's not do that. Let's try this.
Oh,
And
that's interesting. Like
yeah. So,
show you videos of like practices or of
yeah, it was
shows.
I don't know how she got a video of us performing from one of the shows. Maybe she was like, we need to record this. This chick needs to see what's happening.
maybe because you had never done it before. They're like, okay, well, we can.
Yeah.
And just
I
show
mean,
her.
I don't know how she got that tape, but I'm grateful to her because, you know, she pointed out a lot of things to me. She really taught me. Between her and Niall, you know, that's how I learned, you know, what it was really like to be on stage. I mean, before I played in bars, I may have done a few weddings here and there, but it's a different kind of performance level when you're performing on these types of shows. And great, I'm grateful that they were Blue Notes, so these are smaller venues. It's not like, you know, thousands and thousands of people.
Stadiums, yeah.
Right. It's intimate, but it was still like we were doing 3 shows back to back, you know, and then we get in. Oh God, where are we taking a bus? It's been that long, but you know, we do 3 shows at each Blue Note that day, so it was exhausting. But it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. It was in Japan. I'm like, oh my God, when am I going to go to Japan?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you get to take in any of the cities at all, or was it pretty much get in the bus, play 3 shows, get in the bus, play 3
You know,
shows?
if you wanted to wake up and get out there, yeah, you can get out there and walk around. I do remember they're very strict about their breakfast policies.
It's like a hotel. They're like 11, you're cut off.
It's like, yeah, it's like when McDonald's was like, no, this is the cutoff point.
Yeah,
Like, you
10:30.
9:59. They're like, oh, sorry, you're like me.
Sorry, do you want a hamburger? You're like, I know those Egg McMuffins are still back there.
I mean, they were very polite. I have to say, the Japanese culture, they're very polite about everything. They're like, we're sorry, with smiles, but you're not getting it, you know? So,
That's funny.
yeah, you know, I got to go to some temples. I did a lot of shopping, got some really cool stuff. I mean, the fashion there is like, unlike anywhere else in the world. So it was like a culture shock for me. And I think for the Japanese as well, because at the time there weren't too many people that were looking like me, and I'm kind of tall, and I'm, you know, a couple of shades off different, so you know, it's like, oh, you know, she's that one of these doesn't belong here, so but it was cool being there and experiencing it, and everybody was so kind and welcoming and accepting. And if I go back to Japan, I'd go back to Japan in a heartbeat. It was just one of the best experiences of my life. It was beautiful. The culture was amazing. The people were amazing. Just everything was amazing about it. And I still have friends from that experience that still like check in and like, oh, we're, you know, listening to your music. So even after all these years, there's still that connection there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you get back from this Chic tour from Japan, and then what was next? Did you kind of establish did you kind of establish yourself as like a background singer at this point?
Well, when I was with Chic, it was a strange mix. I wasn't necessarily a background singer, but I wasn't necessarily always the lead singer. We did a lot of Silver and I did a lot of singing together. But she actually sang most of the leads. There was like a moment where I came out and I did like a little section, like I did I'm coming out my audition song, and like another Sister Sledge song, and we did, you know, I had some solos and We Are Family, you know, because Niles worked with everybody and on everything, you know. So during like a little medley, I had a moment where I was the lead singer, and then we sang together. So it was strange because it was kind of a back and forth thing, and I think I got to a point where as much as I loved being a part of it, and it was again my entree into this whole world, I wanted to just try something different, and I wanted to experience a different sound because, you know, in my heart I was like, I'm a rock chick, I want to go rock and roll. And you know, Chic is not necessarily known for rock. That's definitely it's a disco band. So, you know, it again, I feel like every step in my life has been guided in some kind of way, because next thing I know, I'm with Chic for a few years, but we do a show with Kid Rock, and it was a tribute to Ahmet Ertegun, and I'm on stage with like Robert Plant and Stevie Nicks, and you know, it's like all these amazing Atlantic artists. I'm like, I'm singing with Chaka Khan. I'm like, oh my God, Chaka Khan, you know. So yeah, and so I met Kid Rock, and Kid Rock liked me and the other singer Silver, and was like, hey, you want to sing on my record? And we were like, yeah.
Yeah.
So the next thing I know, I'm going from disco and funk and R&B straight into the lap of rock and roll and all that, you know, that comes along with that. And Kid was like, would you like to go on tour? And
wow.
So it was a tough decision, because, you know, I had been with Chic for so long and I loved them. I loved Niall, loved the whole band, but I didn't feel like I was growing. I felt like I was kind of like in a shadow, and it was that, I mean, that was the gig. That was, you know, this is your position. So I was like, well, I'm kind of already in a shadow. Let me try a different kind of, you know, situation. And so then I went on tour with Kid, and I kind of grew in a different way. It was a different kind of learning experience that I could take from it. So I'm happy I made the jump. It was hard, but you know, I think Niall understood. He was very gracious about the whole thing. And next thing I know, I'm like this, you know, rock chick, and I'm like in front of these huge stadiums, and you know, it was wild, you know, in every sense.
And so you got to sing on one of his records also.
I got to sing on 4 of Kid Rock's records.
Whoa, okay. Wow. Yeah. When did that start? What album was the first one you got to join him on?
Rock and Roll Jesus was the first one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And that's that's the one that won like a bazillion awards, right?
Yeah, I got the you know, the discs, the platinum discs on my wall because the whole band got it. And I'm like,
that's so rad.
It's like, you know, even if I never get it with myself, I still got one.
Yeah.
It's on my wall. I can't take it from me. There's Jessica Wagner, you know, it has my name on it. So.
Whoa. So you were on Rock and Roll Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, looks like Born Free and Rebel Soul. You were on those ones as well.
Yeah.
And those also went. One of them went gold. One went platinum. Did you get those records too?
No, I didn't.
You need to make a phone call.
I'm going to call, yo, Bob, what's up? Where's my record?
You owe me 2 more. Wow.
I got the wall space. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah, right? Just take a picture of your wall and say, I think I need 1 more Kid Rock, one to the left and to right. That's cool, though. Wow. So have you toured with them ever since that, you know, putting that record out, or did you only do a few tours with them? Like, you must have.
No, I was with Kid. I was with Kid for years as well. There came a point where I felt like I needed to grow. He was winding down as far as like touring around the world. He was more comfortable staying in the States, and I wanted to be with somebody who embraced, you know, this world experience, because the one thing about touring is being able to travel and see other cultures, how other people live, and experience that and take it with you and make it a part of you. So, you know, I was starting to feel that wanderlust again, and that's when someone recommended me for Lenny Kravitz, and he had a tour coming up. He was looking for background singers, and again he had a specific look in mind, and again, you know, the Amazon and the Afro, I think it all kind of helped And next thing I know, I'm auditioning for Lenny Kravitz at his place in Miami with 3 other girls, and he was like, I want all of you, we're all going on tour. And so then I had to make the phone call with Bob, and I was like, Bob. But the funny thing is, he totally understood. I was a weeping mess on the phone. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't, I hope you understand. I don't want to leave, but I gotta leave. And he's like, Jess, calm down. Your family, we love you. It's okay. Do what you gotta do.
Wow. So you got to tour with Lenny Kravitz then?
Yeah, I got to tour with Lenny Kravitz. That was, again, in a whole different kind of rock and roll experience. Because when you're with Kid Rock and that crew, it's definitely blue collar, homegrown, take me as I am kind of vibe. With Lenny, it is like high fashion,
Oh yeah.
Yves Saint Laurent. It's glam. It's still rock, but it's still, it's a style, so you have to present yourself with style. I remember when I would go to rehearsal with Kid Rock, I'd have on a Cookie Monster t-shirt, and then with Lenny, I feel like I had on stilettos and studded leather jacket.
$10,000 dress.
I looked like I was going to the Grammys. Every time we rehearsed, it was it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, wow, this is just a rehearsal. And oh God, just even getting ready for that tour, it was, again, a whole other experience because we had a stylist. I'm like, I never had a stylist with Kid. I just kind of pulled together whatever felt right, and which was fun. People liked my style, but now I have somebody who's taking my style and expanding it,
right,
and taking it to a whole nother level. And and it's also humbling, when you're shopping. Again, being this big Amazon woman with, I have a certain level of kibbles and bits, with me, and the other singers are a little smaller, they can fit into a lot more things. And I was like, wow, I'm the Amazon here. So the stylist was like, we got to find something for the Amazon. What can we put her in? So it was a humbling experience, but it was also exciting too. Just, I'm trying on stuff that I couldn't, it was more than my rent. I'm like, dear God, please don't ever let me rip this. Please don't let me sweat in it too much.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm going to think about that. Like, if I tear this.
Like, I can't buy it. You're not taking this out of my pay.
Right. Exactly.
So I hope you realize you're putting it on me at your own risk.
Right. Exactly. Make them sign a contract.
I should have.
Yeah, if I rip this, it's not on me.
It's on you. It's not on me. Funny thing is, like, I don't have any of that stuff. It's like, and we did fittings. It's like, this stuff is fitted to my kibbles and bits, and I'm like, no one else can fit this. These are my kibbles and bits that it fits.
Oh, and they keep all the clothes.
And they keep all the clothes.
Oh,
like,
that's
what are you doing with it? It's like, it's like Warehouse 13. Like, all these.
The graveyard of all the super expensive clothing that was on tour.
Yeah. I don't even know where it is. If I knew where it was, then I would risk COVID to go there and take some of that swag.
Sure, yeah. Might be worth it for sure.
Oh, are you kidding me? Oh God, I'm drooling thinking about some of the outfits I wore on that tour. It was crazy.
What's like, from going from Chic to Kid Rock, like you said with Nile Rodgers, you were able to come out and sing, like, you had a solo piece, and like with Kid Rock, how was that vibe? And then moving on to Lenny Kravitz.
Well, I did have some solo moments with Kid as well, and it got which was cool because I got to stretch myself in a whole different way. Chic had me kind of. I was this kind of in this kind of box, which was great. It was a great, again, an entrance for people to see who I am. Mm-hmm. And then when I was with Kid, I got to be a little edgier, a little grittier. Mm-hmm. With Lenny, it was a whole different kind of experience. I had one moment where I just kind of sang the prominent harmony with him. So it wasn't like I got a showcase by myself, but we as a group, as a unit with the other singers, we were showcased physically. We did a lot of movement, a lot of dancing. In fact, every tour I've ever been on has been very physical. But with Lenny, he had us pushed right up front. We were like right in the center of things, so the audience really could connect with us. So that was a cool experience. And I think I got better as a singer. Even though I blended with Kid Rock's girls, I had to have a very succinct kind of blend with Lenny's girls, and it forced me to work on my craft, to try and hear better and blend better. So I'm grateful for that, because with Lenny, it's funny, you know, he wore these glasses, but you know, he it's like he would turn around, he's like, is he giving me the evil eye? Am I flat? Am I? and then right behind me is the guitar tech. So I never knew. It's like, are you giving me the evil eye? Or are you the guitar tech? So it definitely, he kept you on your toes. You know, it was a harrowing experience at times, because I'm like, Lenny does not play around. Kid would have moments, but he'd be like, gosh, you know, he was always, I think, a little more forgiving with me. Lenny kind of kept us on our toes a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was kind of scary, but I think I needed that too. It forced me to, it's like, okay, you need to really hone in your craft a little bit better.
How long, like, were you, how recently have you been touring with these acts? Like, pretty recently? I'm just curious, because I saw Lenny Kravitz like a couple of years ago. I was wondering if you were there.
I think I stopped with Lenny, oh boogers, let's see, what year is it? 2020. I think my last show with him was in 2017.
Okay. You might
and
not
in the last couple of years.
Did you play the Kaboo Festival in Del Mar in San Diego?
Yeah.
Okay, then
yeah.
I did see you. How funny.
Yeah, I had on he had the best kimonos, and I'm like, I'm ready. I'm finding out where that warehouse is. I'm telling
you. Okay, so yeah, I was like, I wonder if she was at that show. Yeah, so you were there.
If you
That's
saw
awesome.
a chick with a massive afro, that was me.
I saw a lot of bands that day. I remember seeing Lenny Kravitz though.
Yeah, we were there. I also was moonlighting a bit with Duran Duran when I was with Lenny. I did some stuff for about a year. Which
they
now
played that Kaboo too. Did you do 2 shows that day?
No, I don't think it was that. Did we do? I can't remember all the shows. All the shows start to mesh into one.
Sure.
After a while.
But I know Duran Duran, and I believe Duran Duran played it. I want to say they did.
They could have. I can't remember if I was there with them. I might have, because I think I do remember going with them as well. But I don't think it was the same year as when I was there with Lenny.
I think they played they didn't play the same year. So
yeah.
That would make sense.
So yeah, you probably saw me twice.
Wow.
So yeah, it was kind of like when Lenny was taking some time and we weren't touring as much. So I was like, yeah, let me jump off here and do some stuff with Duran Duran. And Niall got me that gig, God bless him. And that was wild.
He's worked with them, right? Didn't he? He's worked with Duran Duran quite a bit.
Yeah, Notorious, one of their biggest hits, and that's Niall. And it was almost like a family reunion, because Chic was performing with Duran Duran. And we're like, we were working together. We were doing a lot of shows, so I got to see my old band as I was performing with my new band.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was so much fun. But these last couple of years, I was touring with Little Steven and the Disciples of Soul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Again, a whole different kind of experience, and being introduced to like that whole Jersey, E Street crowd, which again is a completely different crowd from the Lenny crowd, from the Kid Rock crowd, from the Chic crowd. I've had a very schizophrenic career. It's exciting that way. I prefer it that way. So.
Well, it's cool that you I thought you were doing more of like the straight backup vocals, but it sounds like you were like more of a part of the actual performance of the shows on the tours.
Well, yeah. If you, it depends on which artist and what I was doing. With Duran Duran, I think that was where I was the most just a background singer. But even then, they liked us to come down front and interact with the crowd. So every tour I've ever been on, there was a moment where I was down front with the crowd, either dancing or singing. With Little Steven, oh my goodness, oddly enough, that was the hardest show I've ever done. It was 2.5 hours, and we're basically doing squats for 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So much, his music is so energetic, it's like frenetic, and we're just like going hard from beginning to end. So yeah, that was definitely my hardest show, even though it was a lot of fun, but we expended a lot of energy to get through it.
Wow. And you're signed to his label now, right?
I am.
That's really awesome. Tell me about that. And you have your own record of music coming out also.
The record drops October 9th. I have 2 singles out now, Over and Over and End of Time. Over and Over was released on vinyl, and there's a B-side. So
oh, cool.
Yeah, so you can get the vinyl. So yeah, the funny thing is, the beginning of this year, I went to Steven and I said, hey, can you give me some advice? I just finished this record, because I had been writing it when most of the writing had been done, but I was doing a lot of recording the years I was on tour with him, and whenever I could get home, I would try and like finish the record, and somehow I managed to finish the record in between tour dates. So at the beginning of this year, I was like, can you give me advice? I want to go on tour. I'm putting everything into this project. Can you give it a listen? Tell me what I need to do, who I need to talk to as far as like trying to go on tour. So, I sent him the record, and then he said, let's meet. And like a couple of days later, I'm meeting him mafia style in this restaurant. We're like going, I feel like we're underground, and he's like has this, his coffee, and there's no one else. It's just me and him. I'm like, wow, you're gangster right now, you're pure on Silvio right now. So he's like, I like it. I like it a lot. I don't understand it, but I like it. Which to me was like one of the biggest compliments, because I like the fact that I don't, my music kind of like it explores different genres. But
sure.
He's like, I dig it. Have you ever thought of being on Wicked Cool? And of course, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I knew he had a label. It's like, wow, that'd be really cool to be on Wicked Cool. And I toy you toy with the idea, but going like saying, yeah, I'm gonna get signed.
Sure. Right.
And the next thing I know, he's like, would you like to be signed? I'm like, the Duran face. And then 2 days after that, I'm in the office talking with the record label execs, and then I'm signing papers, and then they're like, okay, we're putting this record out, and it's being released in such a different way than I was going to do. I was just going to, regurgitate it onto the social media sites. Yeah. And say, here, take what you
Here's
want.
My music.
Here's my music. Right. And it's so different to have people who have plans and schedules, and they say, no, let's do it this way. And, you're going to release this time. And, yeah, everything was elevated. The album art, the packaging, everything is taking it to a different level than what I was planning on doing as by myself. So, again, you see the hands working in my career, and it does feel like it's some kind of divine intervention, because these things just don't make sense how they happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I know, that's crazy. That's so cool though, that they're putting the record out for you. And I did see that you even got to do like a social distance show. And tell me, like, did I see something on the Grammys? Like you're playing
no.
The Grammys website. They're doing like a diary.
The beauty about having a label is that they can get you press, which is something I've never had before. Yeah, I've tried to do it myself, but I'm horrible at it. It was one thing I regret. To be an artist, you really need to learn how to be a business person, and that's always been my my weakness. One of my I need to build that side of my career up.
Right.
But yeah, they have a brilliant publicist and media person who's going out finding me all these interviews, and he's like, would you like to be on Grammys.com? And I'm like, are you kidding? Is that a question? That should be, you're gonna do this, you're gonna write, you take these pictures, you're gonna write this out,
Yeah.
It's Grammys.com. No, I just recently did one of the first shows I've done in front of humans in a long time, in live humans where you can physically almost touch, if we were allowed to be closer than 6 feet apart.
Sure.
So it was just exciting. I wanted to capture that day because it's been so long since I've been able to do that. I've been doing live streaming shows because that's what you do now.
Yeah.
So the Grammys.com wanted me to document a day in the life of what it's like to be an artist. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to take this day because I'm actually doing something. I'm not sitting around watching Call the Midwife all day, which is another thing is like, turn off Netflix, write a song, be productive. So I was fortunate that I did happen to have a gig, within this time frame. I was like, I'll do this day. And it was fun. It was with this great guy, Chris Chiani, who's an amazing blues player, and we were doing some of his originals and some covers, and it was like, oh my God, people, I can actually see them. I'm not reading comments as I try to sing, so it was just an exciting day for me because it was almost like being back home, almost like what it used to be. And yeah, it came out yesterday. I posted about it today. It's just a cool little diary entry, basically.
Yeah.
On what it's like for an artist in the times of COVID.
The times, right. Well, so people were actually at the show. They just had to like segregate, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tables were, everything was spaced, and
That's cool.
There was distance between us and the crowd. I think I do like this little Tina Turner moment. I'm coming out and I'm about to be rolling on the river, and then, like, one of the guys is like, I need you to roll on back,
Roll back about 6 feet.
Exactly. Like, okay, I'm gonna roll back up to the stage.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that's awesome. I mean, you got a record coming out. You got to play a show, so that's good. I mean, hopefully more in the future. We'll figure out this
I'm still doing the live stream thing.
Yeah, how's that? Are you doing like a weekly one?
I'm kind of just doing it when I can. I have 2 really cool ones coming up that I'm going to start posting about. I have one Monday with a website, Bands in Town, or thousands of artists. So you've heard this. So yeah, I'm doing Bands in Town on Monday at 3. And then September 11th, I'm doing a show. It's kind of like a teaser show. I'm going to be doing a lot of the songs from the new album, so people can get like a preview of what the album's going to sound like. And that's going to be at the Bowery Electric. And that's exciting because, it's, even though the venues are closed, they're opening that venue so I can, come in.
You get to play there.
I get to play there. Yeah.
Like an empty room or a crew or whatever. And then, but it'll be broadcast on.
It will be broadcasted. But it has professional sound and video, and I'm in a venue. It's just cool. I'm not on my bed or in my living room where I have been.
Yeah, that's awesome. That'll be really exciting. You said September 11th that's happening?
September 11th, and then the Bands in Town show is actually this Monday. I'm actually doing that one in Little Steven's his studio where he produces the underground show. Yeah, so
that's cool.
I'm super psyched about that one because it's kind of, again, like going home. We did, because I also recorded vocals for his latest project, Summer of Sorcery. So yeah, that's where we recorded the vocals, and it's like, oh, here I am back at home.
Yeah, he runs the XM radio station too, right? Underground radio, or
yeah.
Is that where he does his show?
Oh,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Kelly from the Dolly Rots. They're signed to the same label. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said she does a show on his She does like the morning show, I think, on his
nice.
station. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
He takes good care of the artist. You know, you can feel like he has your back. You know.
Yeah, which is awesome for somebody that has the success that he does. You know
right.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's not every day that guy that's like in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is that cool. You know.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that he was willing to sit down and talk with me, period, about this record, and you know, it's mind blowing. And so I'm so grateful to him. I'm grateful for him to just listen and take a chance on me. And and I've had a chance to meet some of the other people on the label. I'm actually, when I do the show on September 11th, it's going to be with Jesse Malin, and he's another person on his label. I did a duet recently with Soraya, the lead singer Zuzu. We did like a one-off thing. We covered Angel by Aerosmith, and
wow.
Yeah, people really loved it. You know, we put it up on our pages, and they're like, "Wow, you guys should do more of that."
Yeah, that's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll do like a cross pollination of bands or something.
Yeah, totally. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today, Jessie. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you kidding? Thanks for talking to me. It's great. Yeah.
I have one more question. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh, I suppose you have to try and get in positions where you can be seen. I know it's easier said than done, because a lot of it is luck. But if you're good at networking, that's gonna be your end. You gotta make the dots connect, you know. And even if it means going to a bunch of open mics and meeting that person who knows that person who knows this person who knows that person, that's the key. It's perseverance. It's not easy. You have to be clinically certifiable to be in this industry, honestly. But if you are slightly left of center, keep going for it, keep persevering, keep fighting. It's going to hurt. You're going to cry. You're going to be like, why the heck am I doing this? But something inside of you is going to say, keep doing it. And maybe you'll be on the stage with, the artists that you love, that you respect. Yeah. So network and perseverance. Bringing it backward.